Hi, welcome to another yet exciting episode of Bumping Into Walls here on CJSW 90.9 FM. And of course, if you missed us, too bad. No, I'm kidding. Check out the CJSW app. I'm Dave, he's Anthony, and here we are yet another month. Oh my gosh. I keep saying this. Time flies, we'd had a tough winter. Aww.
And it rained and rained and rained at some point here. At some point, they had 3 days of rain.
Oh, heck. We had snow in August. That's a long time ago, way back when.
Yeah.
So anyways, what's new in your life? I mean, sheesh, I know last time we got, I know you're taking yoga. That's new.
Yeah. That's doing well. There's only 2 of us in class now because the other lady left. So it's actually kind of cool because the instructor is able to give us more time, of course, and we're learning the poses better. So that's a bonus for us. But when we get a new person coming, whenever that occurs, we'll work with that. We get more props, which means because the floor is super cold, it's cement, we just throw blankets all over it and it works. But when we get new people, that won't happen. So
perfect.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping we don't, but you didn't hear it from me.
But this is being aired. Oh, well. Hey, listen. Today's a little bit of a subject here. We're discussing Braille. Now, funny thing is, I've never seen. Oh no, I lied.
You've seen Braille. It was on our elevator today, man.
Yeah, that's right. So I can't say I can't see it.
And you've seen a Braille menu at Boston Pizza.
Yeah, with no pictures. All it is a bunch of series of dots. And of course, if you're using Braille, guess what, folks? You got no sight. Well, no kidding.
Not always.
But
majority of us, yes.
That's what we think, isn't it?
That's what people think, and yes. Braille's consisted. So what you basically know nothing about Braille. Basically, that's what you're telling me, right?
Well, no. I know they consist of dots, and I know, like, if you go to it'll say women's washroom or universal washroom nowadays. It does spell out what it is.
Yes, it does.
So I do that much. I know. I don't know exactly how to read it because I myself have never used it. Having said that, certainly we have technology to help us out, i.e. those MetaSmart glasses, the Orcam Read, which I get. So there are devices to help you read. But having said that, if this was 1989,
oh, good luck. You would back in, yeah. So I'll go through a quick primer, really quick, because I hate primers, but I'll do it anyway.
Thing. Yeah.
So Braille was developed many hundreds of years ago. It was, I don't know, I didn't do my fact check completely, but the guy's name was Louis Braille. He's in France, and he was a soldier. So it would have been First World War. Well, we'll say that because I didn't do my homework. Sorry, boys. So basically, he developed it.
Wait a second. You didn't do your homework?
No, I didn't because I didn't realize.
All right, carry on.
Anyway, Louis Braille got blinded, so he developed this system where soldiers could communicate with each other. It wasn't meant for us; it was meant for soldiers. And you had a slate with lots of little holes in it, and you had a stylus which you poked the slate into leather, apparently, and that's how they communicated.
Interesting.
Then years later, they decided the blind could use it, and so that's kind of how the blind kind of got started using it. And basically, they had an alphabet, which we still have. So now what has happened is, when I went to school, and I'm just going to use my experience because I wasn't here in 1700s. So we use a thing called a Brailler. And there used to be only one kind. Now there are 2. I'll explain why in a minute. It's called the Perkins Brailler, and that's the folks who manufacture the thing. So it basically is a machine that looks like a typewriter with 6 keys, a roller, a margin, a release for paper, and 2 margin changers. So you can change your margins, your width of your Braille. And a little stylus on the front that, as you're typing from left to right, it will punch through the Braille. Now, back in the day, they had something called the slate and stylus, and they still use these things. Basically, you're typing, it takes longer because you have to go dot by dot by dot. With a Brailler, you have combinations that you can use. So you have 6 keys. You can do 1 or 2 things at once. Couldn't do that back in the day. But if you get really good at it, you can go quickly. So there's 2 kinds of Braille. There is contracted and uncontracted Braille. So, of course, that means we start in grade 1 and we learn uncontracted Braille. Now, uncontracted Braille is your basic alphabet. Contracted Braille is like when you want to make documents in a hurry and you don't want to have to write every letter out. So for you guys in print land, a page of print is a page of print. But for us, double it. So a page of print is now 2 pages of Braille. So you can imagine how heavy Braille books are. The Bible takes up 1 massive, huge shelving unit. The Torah takes up about 2 shelves. So it's a little smaller than the Bible. Now, there are 2 kinds of Braille. There's paper Braille and paperless Braille. Now, paperless Braille only started when they made these specialized machines of 1-line Braille that you could read and throw stuff on a memory stick, and it would then put it in. You could put the whole Bible in your Braille thing, and you could read it, but 1 line at a time. So you had to get really good at manipulating the thing. They're about $7,000 to $8,000 a piece, so they're not cheap.
That's all? Okay.
Yeah, that's all. Now, here's something interesting. Only 10% of students learn Braille in Canada and 20 in America because there are more of them. So, and they have a Braille teacher shortage. Now, originally, when we came up with this idea, there's something that has been around called the Braille Challenge. Do you know much about that?
No, believe it or not.
Okay, all right. Well, I didn't either until I did some homework. I'll give you the quick rundown. So, kids from about grade 1 to grade 12, all over the world, go into this. So, they have in their own, so let's say you're in Calgary. So you're in, we'll say grade 7, because that's when you get to go to Los Angeles. But I'm going ahead of myself. So everyone starts out in their local area. They have little competitions. Reading, writing, mathematical Braille, which is what I forgot. That's the other kind of Braille they have. So those are the 3 they work with. Reading, writing, mathematical Braille, and reading comprehension. Yeah, you can tell I've been reading teacher stuff. Anyway, that is what they do. So they go through their local city. And then they go, okay, we're going to all go to, let's say, Edmonton. So they all go to Edmonton, and they have a provincial, like we used to do in Special Olympics, right? And then they decide, okay, we'll take however many from the provincials, because here's the cool thing. Only 50 out of the thousands of these people that are doing it in Canada, America, England, Australia, and Kenya get to go to LA for 3 days to do this in LA, because that's your finals. You get to go to the Braille Institute in LA and do your thing down there. So I don't know what you get because it didn't say anything as far as what you get, but I'm assuming you get a plaque. And there are different levels. So if you're in elementary, you're going to compete against elementary. If you're in junior high, whatever. They kind of make it so everyone's on an equal playing field. I don't know how many. Some states don't even do it. So I looked at the list, and some of the winners were from Canada. I don't know where because they didn't say. They just said Canada. And so, yeah, it was good to see Canadians are representing. Young people are representing. And, so it's basically a way for people to realize that Braille's important. Because a lot of times now what they're doing with kids in certain places like Australia, I have a friend who knows someone who teaches Braille down there, and he said teachers find it easier to throw them in front of a computer with a screen reader. But here's the problem. You're illiterate at that point because you don't know how to read. It's reading to you. So this is why the Braille Challenge was invented in 2000 in LA. Then it expanded out to San Diego, and then it just got bigger from there. So it's always been an American thing. Sorry I couldn't find any more on it, but...
No, actually, it's very interesting as, it's kind of like, I guess, a large print. Right, folks who do have sight will use large print. I've used it some of my life. And what else? There's specialized paper that are dark lined, and you can have it really wide spaced. I've seen that when I went to school. There's different tools for things. And certainly Braille you do see in our everyday world.
You do now, but you never used to. Because back in the 80s, you never saw it. Now it's part of the building code in Alberta. So when an elevator is implemented in a public building, like the university, I can't speak for churches. I've never seen it in our church or any other church. But in, let's say, the university here, they have to put Braille in. I know sometimes they have people that are called proofreaders, and they go to school to learn how to proofread. And that's all they do all day long is proofread Braille.
And if you're just tuning in, you are listening to Bumping Into Walls here on CJSW 90.9 FM. Check out the CJSW app. And, of course, if you want to reach out to the show, that is Bumping Into Walls, CJSW at gmail.com.
Hey.
Bumping Into Walls, CJSW at gmail.com. Folks, I feel like I'm just on the ball today. I even sent in our...
Good, man.
I even sent in our show notes, or like way before we got on the air. So.
Yeah, we were sitting in the lobby, and you're like, here you go, man. He's like, oh, great, cool.
Yeah, because I think last time I thought I had sent something, and obviously, guess what? Dave didn't do his homework.
I did. I happened to be here that day, and so I had to give Kamal some notes. I did. Got her done.
So back on the Braille thing, it's interesting because, like I said, I do see it all around me. I really do. And how much it's used, I don't know. And at least the folks that we know personally, a lot of them are using the Meta Smart glasses too, which is a neat thing. And
it's a long process to learn Braille. So there is, and unfortunately I did some homework, but every time I walk in here, my brain goes blank. So there is a Braille now where originally every country was different. So England would do something like not capitalize your letters. So you're reading a sentence and you're not really sure what you're reading because there's no capitals. Well, they got smart and they decided every country should follow the same rules, and that's what they're doing.
Well, in writing, I got lazy and necessarily not added capitals to my beginning of my sentences. Okay. Teacher used to call me out. Oh, don't forget a capital here and a period there. Punctuation. I was still lazy with it.
Well, I've seen some of your texts, and they're not all that bad. So.
Well, no, I try to be clear and precise.
I was guilty of not putting punctuation into. So one of the things that they're finding now is the shortage of Braille teachers. Because now with all this great tech, the regular teachers are going, well, why do we want to have these students away from what all my other classes doing when they could just sit in front of a computer? But here's the thing. If you don't have something in front of you under your fingers, you're illiterate. So the word Las Vegas, if you listened to that word, what letter do you think is in the middle of the word Las? If you didn't know.
It's L-A, no. I think it's about L-A-S, Las Vegas.
Yes, but if you
not
didn't,
Los.
But if you didn't know that, right? My screen reader is going to call it Las Vegas.
Yep, exactly.
So what letter do you think would be in the middle of that letter of that word? Right. So you're running around spelling it L-O-S. Now Los Angeles is the same thing. But see, if you had learned how to read Braille, then you would understand a lot more than just listening to it. Because to listen to it takes a lot longer than reading.
It does, but also reading, at least I'm speaking from the sighted world, or partially sighted world, reading can take a very long time too. So
sure it can, yes.
you know what? Yeah, I agree with you on that. You could, if that's all you depended on your whole life, luckily going to school, they handed me a magnifying glass and said, okay, here, use this. Or
hey, that works.
I had a CCTV. Of course, even those have definitely come a long way since I had one sitting in the classroom.
So a CCTV is basically just a TV that you put your because I don't know the acronym.
Closed circuit television.
There you go. You go.
And it uses a magnifier.
And it has a camera on it.
That's right.
Yeah, and it had a board back in the day that if you were silly enough, I've seen that thing fall apart. It fell off once, and I got blamed for it. It was kind of scary.
Yep.
So, no, one of the things that they're finding in Australia right now, because they have so many kids and so few teachers that what the teachers are doing is, like I said, they're shoving kids onto the screen readers, the computers, or the meta glasses, which are great. I mean, I think they're great because not everything's in Braille. So we go to a restaurant after bowling, and it's been 4 years since their menus have changed. I think they've been through 3 changes.
Yeah.
Those of us who read Braille are still reading a menu with A, no pricing, and B, half the menu doesn't work anymore because they're still looking. They've asked me to help them, and I have, but down east, the head office is still messing about. It's been 4 years. But the nice thing about the fact that, like, you can actually put these devices that I mentioned, these Braille, I'll call them Braille computers because that's what they are. They're small Braille computers to your computer, and you can read instead of listening to something. You can read it right on your Braille note or whatever it's called, because you have different kinds. You have 2 or 3 different companies that make these things. But as I said, they're about $7,000 a piece. So
again, that's all perfect. I'll go get one tomorrow.
Oh yeah. I mean, and here's the thing. Remember I mentioned there's 2 kinds of Braillers? Well, there are. There's the Perkins Brailler, and then there's something called the Mountbatten Brailler. It plugs in. You literally have to plug it into a wall for it to work. Now, the problem with the Mountbatten Brailler and some of the new Perkins ones is they're made of freaking plastic. Mine has been around since 1975, and it's only been cleaned once.
Oh.
But that's because I always put the cover on it, and I'm pretty fastidious when it comes to that. You know how I fly, right?
Oh, yeah, of course. You have to be.
But yes, you have to be. So I've seen Braillers where, like, gum has been found in them, especially in school.
Oh, that's just nasty.
Oh, yeah. And I've had to pull it out of my Brailler back in school. Yeah, it's gross. But, I mean, here's the thing. Would you rather not read, or would you rather depend on a screen reader?
That is a good question. I struggled with reading my whole life, and that's just the way my sight is. So it was always, hard to hold focus on a page, let's say, in a book. I mean, you tried large print, and it works for the most part. But, I don't know.
Okay.
For me personally, I mean, I like being read to because it's easier.
Oh, me
yes,
too.
it does take a long time to listen. I mean, I couldn't even make it through the Godfather book.
I couldn't make it through that book, so don't feel bad.
So, I mean, there you go.
It doesn't take as long if you speed it up.
Then you're almost listening to... and you could, as long if you can speed it up. But yeah, that's just me. I mean, of course, I know how to read. Mm-hmm. It just takes a little longer. It always
But if
has.
you never learned because they never chose to teach you because there's no teachers to teach you Braille, you're forever illiterate.
That, I think that would be it. I mean, certainly with today's technologies.
But technology breaks.
Oh, yes, that's the problem.
So let's say now all of a sudden my player is kind of broken right now, so I couldn't read a book, right? So, but if I had Braille under my belt, I could, go get a book from Sela in Braille. It would be a pain to get to my house because the mailing is a pain, but it could happen, right?
Yeah, I think we don't offer CDs anymore. They don't
officially, but a buddy of mine in Edmonton still gets them. So they don't offer them for newer books because the publishers just aren't putting them out.
No, I can see why.
Yeah,
I mean,
can too.
Everything's downloadable, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So, down to your Alexa speaker nowadays. I tried it, and you know what? It's good. It has its points.
So because we have it now for our library, Canadian Equitable Library Access, they have a skill that's used for folks who have Alexas or whatever you have. I just woke every Alexa up that's listening to us right now. Sorry, guys. But yeah, that's it. That's something that's happening. But
yeah, I believe the skill is accessible reading. If I'm not.
Okay, well, you could always
something like that.
You could always check out.
Yes.
Through
yes. Don't quote me because Dave wasn't sure. But it's something to that effect. I have it on my speaker just in case.
Just in case, yeah.
Because the Victor Stream, as I own the 3, it's a great device. It really is. Again, but I think of course we're waffling a bit, but that's fine. Braille in itself, I think, well, there always should be and will be a place. I don't think it's necessarily dying. And I think, of course, now the younger folks, I don't know, are they using it? I mean,
Yeah, actually, in many cases, the younger ones who have no sight at all or limited sight are using it. But it depends what state you're in. So if you are in, like I have a friend who lost her sight later in life. She'd lost it in grade 6 or something. And they didn't know in Kentucky that there was a school for the blind. And it took them a long time because they didn't have the web back then. Like it just wasn't accessible to them.
Back then.
You know?
Don't you feel
Oh,
old?
God, yes. I mean, at 56, yeah, I feel a little old, dude.
I'm
but
47 and I feel kind of old. And like, geez,
hanging around some of the younger ones.
Yeah, back then, and they're talking about this. I'm like, things were simpler, weren't they?
In a way, yes, but in a way, no. So, for example, for us in school, now you can get stuff same day as it's published. But back for us, at least for those who read Braille, I was reading stuff from 1945 because that's all we could get, or 1973, and it's now 1989. So, or 1965, and it's now 1979 or whatever.
Right.
So I read a lot of classics because that's all we had. So now things have gotten a lot better for kids and students in school. But again, if you weren't taught Braille, it's a slog because listening to stuff is not as fast as reading. And that's why the Braille Challenge was invented. I know we brought that up earlier. That's why it was invented. So maybe they get a plaque at the end of it. I don't know.
Better be in Braille.
I bet you it is. I had a friend, she was going to contact the Braille Institute for me, but I never heard back from her. So we actually kind of tried to contact the correct person, but I just went with what I knew. And she'd also been to this thing a little bit, so she knew a little bit about it. So we pieced it together. And like I said, I never knew of it because by that time I was out of school. So now, obviously, they're trying to keep Braille relevant, which I think is a good thing. And I do have it in Calgary, I know, because I looked at the massive amount of people that are having these little challenges all over the place, and there is a Calgary contact. I never called her because, well, I didn't have to. But, it is what it is. It's sad that it had to come from the States because not much
Well, I
good.
think, based, your experience in terms of using it, I think is the most valuable. As I say, it's something you see every day.
But you don't
from
really
the side
understand
but
what
you
it
don't
is.
know.
No. So, for example, if you know the alphabet, then you know how to read numbers because there's a little sign that goes in front of let's say the A, which turns it into a number 1. So if you know your alphabet, you can play cards. If you know your alphabet, you can label things. Although knowing it's called contracted Braille. Knowing contracted Braille would help because your labels would be smaller. But you could label things with uncontracted Braille. They've changed all the terms too. So from when I learned it, they've now changed all the terms. So that is why I'm having a little bit of a hard time with it. But Braille is still relevant.
At the end of the day, I mean, at these restaurants, I guess they don't.
You don't see it very often. I've asked, and now it's expensive because I'll look at the place we go to. Every time they change their pricing, and that happens a lot more now, you'd have to change your menu, which would cost the restaurant. And I don't think in America it's different because they have the Americans with Disability Act, although that's getting kind of ranked and shredded right now due to their president over there. But,
although I believe the disability Alberta was supposed to try to legislate. Let's try that again.
Yeah.
A disability accessibility law. That's what it was.
Well, I know our sister show, Accessible Airwaves, had pulled an interview with Barrier Free Alberta. Now, I don't know if they talked about that, but if you're interested, go check them out because I should have, but haven't yet. But
no, our personal lives have been sort of busy. Between, my gosh, of course, hey, it is
it's summer right
around
now.
that time, summer-ish, everything's winding down.
Mm-hmm.
Bowling starts up in the fall.
Yeah.
And you know what? As we're getting somewhat towards the end of the show, not quite, but, of quickly, summer plans. We're going to just jump into that. What do you think you're doing? I know you said you were supposed to go to camp.
I was supposed to go to camp. That didn't fly. I'm probably going to be hanging around here. I'm not sure what else I'm doing. I mean,
hang out with me, Heather, in the swimming pool.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm kind of thinking, right? That's what I'm kind of thinking. So
why not?
There's that, and choir's wrapped up for the year for me. So yoga wraps up end of June. Art class doesn't wrap up. We get 2 weeks off coming up here, so 3 weeks off, and so it's going to go through the summer. That's the one thing that's all right on a Wednesday.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Pretty
it goes on a Monday, so it continues.
I can see it would.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. I'd love to have them come in, but we haven't connected with them yet.
Yeah, I think that could be a future show.
That's a future show, too, I think.
I think for ourselves, myself and Heather, who we've had on the show before,
we have,
my lovely wife.
We have.
Good cook, by the way.
Oh, yeah. When you go to their house, you never leave hungry.
I think we're going to hang around. As I mentioned, we have a nice outdoor pool, and I think we're going to hang around the home. I don't know if we're going to be going to Edmonton this summer or not. That's something that will be decided at some point. Or maybe have the folks down there come on down to Calgary.
It's only fair. You've been the ones who've always come up there, so.
And I know you know that you do that travel every couple times a year as well up to Edmonton. You got family, so it's. Hey, it's an okay city.
It is. It's
I did wear my Calgary Stampeders shirt there one time.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Brother-in-law threatened to drop me off at the Ice District.
You wouldn't have lasted, buddy. All those Oilers fans would have eaten you for lunch. So that's just for those who don't know, there's two hockey teams called the Edmonton Oilers and the Calgary Flames. And by the way, the Flames kick Oiler tail. But that's okay.
Yeah, of course, when they lose, I think they're known as the Shames.
Yeah, our friend calls them the Calgary Shames. Even someone over at the Fan 960 has been known to call them that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. I mean, just because they haven't won the cup since, what?
1989.
Yeah, oh gosh, I was young.
So was I.
I remember that day too.
Well, here's the thing. Would you go to a hockey game if you were total and couldn't see it? Would you go?
Probably just for the experience.
Yeah, but you'd have to take a radio with you. I would.
You would?
I would. Yeah, I'd go with.
I'd do it just for the expensive beer. Although I don't drink, but
I don't drink. Yeah, no.
Oh my gosh!
Like I say, I we know someone who goes to Roughnecks games, and they take they get a TSN package, and they take it with them, and they seem to work. It seems to work for them. So.
Well, I watch a Hitman play as well.
Yeah.
That's always actually interesting hockey.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not much of a sports guy. I'm really not. But, the odd time if someone's watching hockey or whatever, especially when we're up in to the city of the north, we watch...
the Whiners. The Edmonton Whiners.
But, hey, we're in Edmonton, so we got to respect that one.
Yes, we do.
Hey, anyways,
we're out of time, I think.
No, I think we're getting pretty darn close. We are going to sort of wrap up. I'm going to say thank you very much for listening. And, hey, just to let the listeners know that we are taking a break for the summer, and we will be back sometime.
Yes.
In the fall.
Yeah.
I'm going to, if I had to guess, it'll maybe around November will be an airing show. It will be airing again. So just to let you know, we are taking a bit of a break. We're not going anywhere.
Nope.
But really, we do need some time to unwind, sort of relax, regroup. Hey, you know how it is around here. So thank you for listening, and we will catch you again, you wonderful listeners, on the next episode.